Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Cynthia, and today's video, I'm going to take you on a little bit of a tour of my crafting space. As some of you know, I recently moved, and so I have a much smaller space to work with. I also didn't have any furniture for a little while, so I've acquired a desk and a little bit of storage stuff to kind of organize myself while we're still getting kind of settled into our room. And I'm a big believer in kind of taking your time and really assessing your space before making big purchases. So as you're going to be able to see, the under of my desk is a complete mess, but it still works, and it's still a way that I'm able to be creative and make the best use of my space as I can. And I've also been able to kind of organize myself a little bit with some under the bed storage, and of course with my desk. So I'm excited to share this with all of you, and I hope you're going to enjoy. So here's a good look at the entirety of my desk. You can see it's a little messy, but you know, it works. At the very top, I have some of my completed journals and some of the journals that I'm still working in. I also have this little jewelry box that holds some stickers and other little bits of ephemera. Then moving a little bit lower, I have some like handmade bobbins with all of my sari silks and chiffon ribbons. And then I also have this little drawer that holds most of my laces and other types of trims. So that's a similar organization system as Heather shared. Heather from RoseHillPaper, she shared that on her Instagram. So just after that, I also have some little jewelry boxes that I use to hold some little loose hands, you know, some charms, some beads. And beside that, I have some journaling cards, some handmade papers, handmade tags, and these little like calling cards that I've sewn around. And in behind the two jewelry boxes, I have my two mini journals that are completed, along with a little jewelry box that holds some of my vintage stamps. Moving to the desk level, I have a little bowl that holds a ton of wax, and then my wax seal, my owl. I just find it's nice to just stick it in there, and this way I know I won't poke myself. The little spoon I use, and another little wax seal. Or stamping seal. I'm not sure. And then the third of those little jewelry boxes, and it just has some hardware in there. Then I have a little tin. It's like a tea tin, and I have my date stamper. I have some vintage playing cards and some bits of ephemera that I've created. So I have these wax clusters, these handmade stamps, as well as some little tags. And in the wooden box beside that, I have some loose hands, some vintage items. On the other side, I have a bunch of vintage photos, along with like some vintage buttons and a little bobbin. And then this little bowl holds some trims that I'm currently working with, And beside that, I have two little cigar, like vintage tins. And they hold just like ephemera. And that first yellow one had just a bunch of paper clips. And beside that is just mess. So we're not gonna go through that. But that's pretty much like what's on my desk. I try and keep it tidy, but if you craft, you know it's impossible. This is like that maybe once a month, and that's generous. So taking a look inside of my desk, this desk was purchased secondhand and it is pretty beat up, I would say. Like the top part of the desk is okay. It is missing like a knob and it's a roll-up desk, so that part is a little bit wonky, but I'm not really doing it up and down anyway. But the actual drawer that came with the desk doesn't exist. Whoever was selling it had tried to make a drawer, but it doesn't really fit in there. It's too small, so it's a bit strange. But for the price that I paid, you know, I figured I'll make it work for now, and at some point, maybe I'll have access to creating a drawer and really making it more usable. But for now, I just slide things in there and I make it work. So in here, I have kind of my everyday tools that I want to have close access to, but I also don't want them right on top of my desk. So like I have a little basket that will have, I have like some stamp, some tape, where my glue stick and my scissors and X-Acto knife, inking tools, staple, all those sorts of things. That's where they live for now. Obviously it would be better if I could pull the drawer, but but I just slide it in there. And then whatever I don't use as often, I slid to the very back. So I have another little basket that has, oops. Oh, well, I have this basket with all of my pens, and then I have another one that has Sharpies, which I don't often use, but I do have them in case I need them. And then then I have this was like a makeup tin. So I put all of my labels in here. So I have like different types of labels. I have handmade ones. I also have some that are, I believe, from Tracy Fox, I want to say. And then it's just some of these. So just a little variety of labels. And I just like to reuse some of my jewelry boxes and just makeup boxes or whatever kind of packaging that I have on hand and make it work to kind of compartmentalize the smaller objects. And then I have a bigger, then I have this bigger little basket that has some other glues, paints, some extra stock, and my crocodile. Again, these are just things that I don't need access to all of the time, so they are a little bit further away, tucked away, but still very much accessible. And finally, I do have my washi tape tray. So this is just like a cutlery tray that we used to use in the kitchen, and I repurposed it for all of my washis. To be honest, I don't use washi tape as much as I thought I would, so a lot of my washi tapes are just sitting here. I try to remember to use them, and then it's great when I do Happy Mail, actually. So then I also have some paper clips, some wax stamps, and other like vintage labels. Well, like stickers of vintage labels, so not authentic, a couple stamps, and just some miscellaneous. So moving to the under of my desk, this is kind of where the mess is currently. I'm trying my best to keep it as organized as I can with kind of what I have. Ideally, I would like to have some shelving under here, perhaps replace the legs or just add some sort of storage unit under there that I could use that would have like some drawers. But that is like a future project. And for now, this is kind of what I'm making work. So what I have under here is a basket of current things that I'm working on. So right now I'm working on quite a few journals. So I have those in this basket, but if I was creating some sort of ephemera, I would just place all of these things in this basket so that I can clear off my desk easily. And it's also kind of all living in one space. Then I also have a couple boxes with scraps. So this pink one holds all of my digi scraps and colorful scraps. And then this box here has all of my other paper scraps and a few like miscellaneous things. Just with the move, it's been I kind of threw some stuff in there when we moved and never got around kind of moving things around. Then I have a little basket that has just random stuff that I don't know where to place yet. I have two binders that kind of hold all of my digitals that I've printed that I can use. So one of them has just miscellaneous, so I have like some Dust of Roses, some from Little Bindy, and digital Curio, and I think I have some from Tailor Made Journals as well. I might be forgetting some, but that's mainly what I have in this one. And then the other one is allocated to all of my Ruby and Pearl digitals. And then in behind there, I have some journals that I have my traveling journal, and then I have two journals that I haven't used yet. Then I have my little traveling lunchbox that I used for when we moved. So if I'm ever going on another trip, I know I can kind of do a little bit of a capsule journaling in there. And then I have one more box that has just like some current projects or ephemera that I want to use for the journals that I'll create for myself, for others, and ephemera that I kind of want to send in Happy Mail. And then moving beside that, I have this basket that holds kind of all of the ephemera that I have. They're all separated in different bags, so it's not like the most appealing type of way to really be organizing my things, but it works. So all of the Happy Mail that I've received from different people, that's how I keep track of what comes from who. And then I have just different types of ephemera. So I have like things that are from maybe like all like floral things that are together, images that are like about like wintertime, everything is together, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how I keep that all making sense for me. And then I have some extra like papers from books that I gutted. And then living beside that, I have all of the papers that I've dyed, and some extra glues, and then this cutting mat, as well as the current papers that I've been using. So whenever I'm working on some stuff, like I'll just, whatever I didn't use, I'll put in those two bags. And then eventually when I'm cleaning everything, I'm just gonna grab whatever piece hasn't been used and place it back into its appropriate place, either that be in one of the folios that I have for my digitals, or like in one of my scrap boxes, or whatever, wherever it might belong. And so finally, I have the under the bed, and right behind my desk here, I have a sewing machine. So I got this sewing machine secondhand, and it does need a tune-up, but it works perfectly fine. I just have it propped up on a little stool here because I don't have much furniture. And I also have a little jewelry box that has just like some other elements here. So I have like some buttons in there, and then I also have just some extra little bits and pieces that I can create some more interesting things with. And then I also have just some extra special scissors and punch holes. And then under the bed, I currently have 2 bins that I'm using for storage. So first off, I have this box here that holds all of my Christmas journaling things, so I need to get through that. I don't know if I'm gonna film the process of doing that, but I kind of need to get ready for doing some pre-filming for Christmas. And then in this first bin, I have some things that I want to travel some traveling things I want to journal about in my journaling, in my travel journal. My goodness. And then I also have just a couple boxes that hold some fabrics, and just other boxes that hold like different types of ephemera that I might get to journaling with at some point, just like personal stuff. And then I also have some brush pens and some packaging items, and like tissue paper, and oh, and then at the very bottom I have all of my scrapbook paper. I don't use scrapbook paper a ton, so it's okay for me that it's kind of out of the way. And there's also some piano paper. And in the second bin, I have some happy mail that I want to get to, some that I want to send, and some that I received that I'm just holding off on using. And then I have some extra papers. And then essentially I have like all the books that I've either gutted or want to gut, or I'm going to be using in the near future. And then I also have all of the wallpapers that I have that I need to kind of go through, but I'm just trying to get them to straighten out a little bit, which is a very hard thing to do, but it is what it is. But that's about it for these boxes. So this is it for the little tour of my current crafting space. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing how I organize myself, and perhaps I gave you some ideas on how you can make your small space work. I'm just so thankful that I have a space where I can create. So, you know, obviously, ideally, I would have my own room and have a lot more storage. But this is very functional anyway, and it allows me to be able to create. And yeah, I hope you're all doing really well, and I will talk to you all in my next one. Thank you so much, and take care.